Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? In this video, we're going to be talking about Stephen King's 2006 novel, Cell. We'll show you the points to look for when trying to identify first US and first UK editions of the book, as well as share some thoughts on the work itself. The first US trade hardcover edition of Cell was published by Scribner in 2006 in a massive print run of over 1 million copies. It has this pretty eye-catching, interesting front cover art. Of course, the phone is dated, but I think I might still know some people that use flip phones, but not that many in 2023. There's the pretty cool back cover author photo. Inside the front flap, look for a price of $26.95. If the jacket is not priced, that indicates some kind of a book club edition. On the copyright page, one thing, even though I'm not a big fan of the design that Scribner uses for their books or the quality of the materials, they do make it darn easy to identify a first edition, first printing. So you look for your number line with the number 1. Underneath, black boards, kind of a orangish reddish spine, printing in gold. Again, this is just what feels to me like paper. It's just paper all around. That's one of the things that I'm not such a big fan of with the Scribner books. Kind of missed the Viking era when the spines were covered with cloth, but there you have it. That is the first US trade hardcover edition of Cell. I don't suppose it matters too much to make that distinction because there has not been a limited edition. So this is the first US edition of Cell.
Okay, and now we're going to look at the first UK trade edition of Cell. This book was published by Hodder and Stoughton. It has a jacket price of $17.99 UK on the bottom edge. It is bound in black cloth with red foil stamping on the spine. And the copyright page on this one does not have any type of number line. It just says first edition with no statement of printing whatsoever. And that is all I really have to say about that. First British edition of Cell.
So Cell, I would say, is definitely one of Stephen King's lesser loved works. I did include it in my previous video from some months back on the most underrated Stephen King novels. It is usually just kind of passed over, and I don't exactly know why that is, other than the fact that Stephen King publishes a lot of books. So just in the constant flowing onslaught almost of new titles, if one doesn't just like strike some chord and really resonate with people, then it just kind of gets swept away as the next book and the next book and the next book and the next book come along. I think Cell maybe falls victim to that. One thing that I noticed, I thought was really interesting is, on the back, on the last page of Stephen King novels, often he'll put a date, whether it's the date that he finished the book or like the literal date, the range, the beginning and end, and where he was when he finished the book. The date range on Cell, December 30th, 2004 through October 17th, 2005. So 10 months, 9.5 months from start to finish, which is just incredibly fast-paced. And I think it shows in the work, because Cell suffers from kind of a bad reputation, or it just has this reputation of being not such a great Stephen King work. I waited and waited and waited and waited until almost the very end of my journey through the entire Stephen King catalog to read Cell, and it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It was fast paced, it was scary, it was gory, it had lots of social commentary to it. It made me think a lot of kind of the post 9/11 world, when just in an instant everything you know can be turned upside down. And of course made me think a lot of George Romero zombie movies. And of course George Romero and Stephen King were great friends and collaborated on Creepshow back in the early 80s. So there was a lot here that I enjoyed. There was a lot of surprising humor to the book as well. So one of the, it just cracked me up, and it's still one of my standout memories of reading Cell, is the use of the Henry Mancini song "Baby Elephant Walk." Do 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 do. And it's used at various times, and it's like I don't know, it's like background music that the zombies in the book choose to play, that seems to soothe them and calm them. And I couldn't quite remember the melody of Baby Elephant Walk, so I paused the book and I went and I listened to the music, and I just laughed and laughed. There's lots of little touches like that. In fact, with its kind of bleak and pessimistic general outlook, with just the faintest ray of hope at the end, the social commentary, the realism, the dark comedy, this, I think, would have made one heck of a Richard Bachman novel, had Richard Bachman not died of cancer of the pseudonym back in the 80s. In fact, of all the books published under the Stephen King name, Cell may rank at the top of the list of ones that really could have passed muster as a Richard Bachman novel. It just has that kind of raw energy, and that just that kind of buzzy, angry, pessimistic vibe, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. The technology, of course, is incredibly dated, but you know, we watch movies from the past. The technology is dated. Phones, phones are phones. They work differently back in the day. They look differently, but people, you get it. I was never, what it is and what the people are doing with the things that they're using in the story. So I was never just so thrown out of the story due to the technology or any of the elements that are now dated. I mean, you got to understand, the book was written nearly 20 years ago, and it was current for the time, and now it's kind of dated, but it's still one heck of a good story, and very, very underrated novel, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So anyway, thank you very much for your viewing, for subscribing to the channel, for your support. I thoroughly appreciate it. I am back in my home with a lot of work that was being done is now coming to an end, and so I'm really excited to get back in a regular habit of producing more videos. I've really missed it. So anyway, thanks to everyone for sticking with me, and let me know what you think about Cell in the comments. Is it one of his best? Is it one of his worst? Let me know what you think. All right, till next time, take care of yourself. I'll talk to you later. Bye.